What if one of the most beloved experts on Pawn Stars vanished without a word? No farewell, no explanation, just gone. Fans were left baffled when Rebecca Romney, the brilliant rare book specialist who brought knowledge, charm, and authenticity to the show, suddenly disappeared. Where did she go? Why did she leave? And what has she been doing since? Today, we're uncovering the untold story of Rebecca Romney, her mysterious exit, her fascinating journey, and how she's quietly rewriting history off-screen. If you thought she faded away, think again. This is a chapter you don't want to miss. There are reality TV stars who walk into our living rooms and then quietly disappear, leaving behind a trail of curiosity and speculation. But few have left as mysterious and lasting an impression as Rebecca Romney, the rare book expert from the hit series Pawn Stars. She wasn't just another rotating expert. She became a fan favorite, an intellectual force, and a crucial element in the show's dynamic. But then, just as quietly as she arrived, she vanished. No grand farewell, no official explanation, just gone. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind Rebecca Romney's rise on Pawn Stars, her unexpected disappearance, and the incredible journey she has taken since leaving the cameras behind. You're going to want to stick around because the story goes far beyond what you saw on television. When Pawn Stars first aired on the History Channel in 2009, it quickly became a cultural phenomenon. Millions tuned in to watch the daily dealings at the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. The Harrison family, Rick, Richard Oldman, Corey, and the lovable Chum Lee became household names. The show's success came not just from the quirky items that walked through the door, but also from the credibility brought in by a rotating team of expert appraisers. Among that group, one name rose above the rest: Rebecca Romney. Rebecca wasn't just another face on screen. She had something different, something authentic, a natural presence, a warm yet scholarly voice, and an incredible eye for rare and valuable books. She joined the show during its 4th season in the early 2010s, and from her very first appearance, she brought a distinct energy. Her evaluations weren't just about price tags. They were storytelling sessions, dives into history, literature, and culture. For fans of the show, she was a breath of intellectual fresh air. Viewers connected with her instantly. But who was she? Where did she come from? Rebecca Romney was born and raised in Las Vegas, a city better known for neon lights than first editions. Her journey to the rare book trade was as unexpected as it was fascinating. Long before her days on camera, she was a swimming instructor. In high school, she dove into language studies, taking up French and Japanese. In college, she added ancient Greek and Latin. She earned a degree in classical studies and linguistics, an academic cocktail that, while not designed for the rare book world, became the perfect foundation. Her entry into rare books was accidental. In the mid-2000s, she took a job at Bauman Rare Books, which had just opened a gallery in Las Vegas. It was there, among the aging pages of literary history, that she found her calling. She rose quickly through the ranks, becoming gallery manager in just a few years. Her knowledge deepened further when she attended Rare Book School, a real thing and a rigorous one at that. She wasn't dabbling, she was committing, and that commitment caught the attention of the producers of Pawn Stars. When the show's stars, especially Rick Harrison, needed help appraising rare and vintage books, they turned to Rebecca. And it turns out she and Rick already had a history. They were friends before her appearances, which made their on-screen chemistry all the more authentic. In fact, they had even double-dated, though that came after filming started. Their camaraderie was real. Off-camera, Rebecca sometimes consulted for Rick privately. But most of her work on Pawn Stars was during actual shoots, sometimes as frequently as 3 times a week, other times as little as once a month. It all depended on whether someone walked into the shop with a book worthy of her expertise. The fascinating part? Rebecca was usually told what item she'd be evaluating, but she didn't get to see it until the cameras were rolling. Her reactions on screen were real, unscripted, thoughtful, and informed. In an industry where reality TV is often anything but, Rebecca brought genuine credibility. But then, one day, she was gone. No final scene, no goodbye episode, just gone. Her last appearance came during the 9th season, in an episode titled Field Trip, which aired in 2014. After that, silence. Fans were left scratching their heads. What happened? Did she quit? Was she fired? Was there drama behind the scenes? There was no official statement, no explanation from the show, no interview, just rumors. Some speculated that she may have had disagreements with cast members. Others guessed she had been replaced or pushed out. But the truth, as it often is, was quieter and more practical. Rebecca had moved. According to her LinkedIn profile, around the time she stopped appearing on Pawn Stars, she left the Las Vegas gallery and transferred to Bauman's Philadelphia location. Since the show is filmed in Las Vegas, the move made it logistically impossible for her to keep appearing. It wasn't drama, it was life. Still, her sudden disappearance left a void. Fans missed her thoughtful insights and calm demeanor. In a show often packed with haggling and heavy personalities, Rebecca was a steady hand and a trusted voice. But while she stepped away from the show, she didn't step away from her passion. After her stint in Philadelphia, Rebecca made a bold move. In 2016, she left Bauman Rare Books entirely. She joined Honey and Wax, another rare book firm. While there, she wrote about some of her favorite finds, including a French edition of Edgar Allan Poe's work and the avant-garde magazine Black Orpheus. Then, in 2019, she took the ultimate step. She launched her own rare book company, Type Punch Matrix, based in Washington, D.C. Her mission was clear: to create a thoughtful, inclusive, and modern space in the world of rare books. She wasn't just selling antique texts. She was preserving history and sharing it with a new generation. But Rebecca's talents aren't limited to appraisals and acquisitions. She's also an author. Together with her husband, J.P. Romney, a published author and a member of the well-known Romney political family, they co-wrote Printer's Error, a witty and informative book about printing mistakes throughout history. The book was praised by the New York Times and the Washington Post for its accessible style and clever humor. It was a love letter to literature and a testament to the couple's shared passion. Their podcast, Biblioclast, became another outlet for their love of books. The show offered vibrant discussions, playful debates, and deep dives into everything from obscure texts to literary legends. For fans missing Rebecca's voice from Pawn Stars, the podcast became a welcome substitute. And yes, in case you're wondering, Rebecca and JP are happily married with 2 children. Despite their public presence, they've chosen to keep their private lives, well, private. You won't find family drama or oversharing on their social media feeds. Just books, always books. Beyond business and authorship, Rebecca has remained deeply embedded in the literary community. She's written for Crime Reads, Literary Hub, Mental Floss, and the Bowman Rare Books blog. Her writing bridges the gap between scholarship and storytelling, making history feel alive and relevant. She's also done behind-the-scenes work in publishing, including editing projects and writing introductions for books. In 2019, Rebecca Romney appeared in The Booksellers, a celebrated documentary that pulled back the velvet curtain on the often overlooked but endlessly captivating world of rare book collectors, sellers, and scholars. Premiering at prestigious international film festivals, like the New York Film Festival and South by Southwest, the film was hailed by critics as both enlightening and surprisingly emotional. For many viewers, it was their first glimpse into the intellectual obsession, financial gambles, and romantic allure surrounding rare books. Among the cast of legendary antiquarians and collectors, many of them older white men in tweed jackets, Rebecca stood out not only because she was younger and one of the few women, but because of her energy and forward-thinking approach. While many experts in the documentary reminisced about the glory days of book collecting, Rebecca spoke passionately about the future of the industry. Her optimism and inclusivity were refreshing, painting a picture of a world that could expand to welcome new voices, younger audiences, and underrepresented stories. Variety aptly dubbed her the cheerful optimist of books, a title that perfectly captures her presence in the film. She spoke not just about the value of books as commodities, but about their power to connect people across time, culture, and experience. In one memorable moment, she described the thrill of holding a centuries-old manuscript and realizing that someone else, perhaps a monk, a philosopher, or a rebel, had once held the same object with the same awe. Rebecca also emphasized how rare book collecting doesn't have to be exclusive or elitist. At Type Punch Matrix, the business she co-founded, her mission has been to broaden the scope of collectible literature, to include zines, marginalized voices, pop culture, and even science fiction and fantasy works that had historically been overlooked in serious collections. Her appearance in the booksellers didn't just cement her as a thought leader, it showcased her as a bridge between the dusty tomes of the past and the dynamic future of book collecting. While others romanticized the old ways, Rebecca invited audiences to imagine what the next chapter of literary preservation could look like, and how anyone, not just the wealthy or well-connected, could be part of it. Rebecca is a true linguist. She's fluent in French, Latin, Greek, and Japanese. Currently, she's studying Old English, one of the most complex and ancient languages. This allows her to read rare manuscripts in their original form, giving her a deeper, more nuanced understanding of their meaning. And her taste in literature, wide and varied. From romance to science fiction and fantasy, Rebecca's reading list spans genres and eras. She's not just an expert, she's a fan, a lover of stories in all their forms. Today, Rebecca Romney continues to build her legacy. At Type Punch Matrix, she curates collections, advises institutions, and helps collectors find treasures that might otherwise be lost to time. She also gives public talks, teaches, and occasionally appears on podcasts and YouTube channels like that of Case Western Reserve University. She may have left Pawn Stars, but she never left the world that made her famous. If anything, she expanded her reach off-screen, but more impactful than ever. While the bright lights of reality TV gave her a platform, Rebecca Romney has since carved out a legacy that stands on its own, far beyond the boundaries of entertainment. She embodies what it means to follow a passion with both heart and intellect, an individual who didn't chase fame for its own sake, but used it as a launchpad to inspire curiosity, literacy, and appreciation for history. So what really happened to Rebecca Romney? She evolved, and with that evolution came reinvention. Her company, Type Punch Matrix, isn't just another rare book firm, it's a reimagining of what the antiquarian book trade can be. Rebecca curates collections that tell cultural stories, including works by women, authors of color, LGBTQ+ voices, and underground publishers. She has helped shift the market's focus from merely what's old to what's meaningful. Under her leadership, Type Punch Matrix has earned a reputation for breaking barriers, introducing modern collecting practices, and making the rare book world more inclusive and approachable. She often says that you don't need to be wealthy or have a PhD to collect rare books, just curiosity and passion. Beyond the business, Rebecca continues to give talks at universities, contribute to literary podcasts, and appear in interviews to demystify the collecting process. She's become an educator as much as an entrepreneur, using every opportunity to promote reading, critical thinking, and the beauty of physical books in a digital age. And in a world moving increasingly fast, where screens dominate and attention spans shorten, Rebecca reminds us of something vital, that slowing down to read a book, especially a rare, time-worn one, is not just an act of learning, but of preservation, a connection to the people, ideas, and revolutions that came before us. Rebecca Romney didn't disappear. She simply turned the page. And now, she's writing a whole new chapter, one that's as compelling, rare, and valuable as the books she's built her life around. She outgrew the spotlight without abandoning the stage. She traded TV fame for deeper influence. From Las Vegas to Philadelphia to Washington, D.C., she's built a career rooted in history, literature, and authenticity. For fans still hoping for her return to Pawn Stars, it's unlikely. But you haven't lost her. You've just been looking in the wrong place. She's still here, writing, teaching, preserving, and inspiring, just not from a pawn shop counter. Instead, she's doing it in the quiet hum of rare book rooms, on university stages, through podcast microphones, and inside the hand-picked pages of literary history. And if you're ever lucky enough to walk into Type Punch Matrix, you just might find Rebecca there, surrounded by books, telling stories the way only she can. The gallery itself isn't your typical antiquarian bookstore. It's modern, inclusive, filled with artifacts not just of high market value, but high cultural significance. You're just as likely to find a feminist zine from the 1970s or a signed Octavia Butler first edition as you are a centuries-old copy of Homer's Odyssey. That's the Rebecca Romney touch, bridging literary tradition with contemporary relevance. She's also deeply involved in reshaping what it means to be a collector. Through her work, She challenges the outdated notion that collecting rare books is only for elite scholars or wealthy investors. Instead, she encourages people of all backgrounds to see value in the printed word, whether it's an obscure chapbook, a revolutionary political pamphlet, or a beloved childhood classic with worn corners and dog-eared pages. Her mission is to make people fall in love with books not just as objects, but as time-traveling vessels of human experience. Rebecca has even spoken out about the role of women in the rare book world, an industry historically dominated by men. Through mentorship, outreach, and visibility, she's working to open doors for more women, young people, and underrepresented communities in this space. In doing so, she's not just protecting history, she's making it. So yes, she may have walked away from television, but she walked towards something bigger, a movement, a message, purpose. Because once a storyteller, always a storyteller. And in Rebecca Romney's story, the next chapter is always worth reading.